Thanks for listening to Towards Fellowship for the week of March 18th to the 24th, 2018. Towards Fellowship is the Ministry Connection podcast of Fellowship Bible Church right here in Mullica Hill, New Jersey. Hi, I'm Pastor Scott. Well, as we head into Quiet Time this week, we are in week 12, and we're studying together Judges 11, verse 12, through chapter 14, verse 20. Don't forget that in our monthly publication, Fellowship Together, we've got a great family devotion section which talks about segments from the Quiet Time, so that can be a tool that you can be using to further integrate the Quiet Time discussion into your family. A couple key themes from the Quiet Time Diary from this week. Focus on humility and communication. So we need to remember that we can ask for anything based on God's will, but we also need to remember to give Him the glory when He gives us victories. Also in our Quiet Time this week, we're talking about Samson, and obviously some issues there with Samson we can be talking to our kids about. Samson had a pretty quick temper. Samson had a lot of pride, not unlike us. But really, Samson's a story of missed opportunity. So God had given Samson everything he needed to be successful, and yet Samson rejected God's path and chose his own. Certainly something we could be talking to our kids about, because hasn't God given us all things for life and godliness to be successful? And yet oftentimes we miss opportunities that God has given to us. Why? Because oftentimes we're so focused on ourselves, just like Samson. So when our kids are in school, they've got opportunities. When our kids are at the playground, they've got opportunities. When our kids are on the basketball court, they've got opportunities. Yet oftentimes we miss opportunities that God has given to us simply because we're so focused on ourselves. So great things we can be talking to our kids about. This past Sunday in Sunday school, in children's Sunday school, the kids started reading Luke's account of Jesus as he's making preparations in anticipation of his death. So Jesus sits down with his disciples for the Last Supper, prays the disciples in the garden at the Mount of Olives, and he prays, "Father, if you're willing, you can take this cup from me, yet not my will, but yours be done." So great example there from Christ for our kids to see that Jesus leaned on God through prayer, especially in his most difficult moments, that we have that resource of prayer. And our kids should be learning that resource of prayer. In Ignite this week for 5th and 6th grade, Steve will be talking about what trials and physical punishment Jesus experienced leading up to the cross, and also talking about the crucifixion process and Christ being the only perfect sacrifice. So great themes as we're heading into Resurrection Weekend. In 3rd place junior high, Adam will be talking about the merciful, continuing his series from the Beatitudes. In 3rd place senior high, they will be in their small groups. So that's another great opportunity to be talking to your teens about what they're talking about in their small groups. Great discussion points are happening each time that they meet in those groups. In 3rd place Sunday school, they'll be continuing their series in 1 Corinthians this week in chapter 14, talking about spiritual gifts, part 2. So this was the Towards Fellowship podcast for the week of March 18th through the 24th, 2018. Thanks for listening.